In this video, I want to talk about the rarity of a nicely toned Franklin. If you've been into toned coins, which as you've probably noticed on my channel, that's what I'm all about. There are certain series that are quite easy to find nicely toned coins. Morgan dollars are probably the most famous example, where the definition of nice is of course in the beholder. But some series, like peace dollars, are rarely toned. Standing Liberty quarters are pretty rarely toned. I also think there was a period of time where dipping was quite popular, and I'm guessing certain series like maybe Walking Liberty halves got dipped more often, but feel free to comment below. Whereas during that era, the big boom of the 1950s and 60s of coin collecting, when so many people were also collecting rolls, obviously these coins were considered modern and probably very few people cared about them. I mean, obviously the one on the left here is a 1958. So what I've noticed as I'm trying to, let me try and zoom out a little bit, create similar to my toned dime goals, nicely toned Franklin halves in every date and mint mark. There's a lot of holes on this one. Now I haven't been going but for maybe 6 months to a year on this, but it is a heck of a lot harder to find ones. Now there's a lot that are toned, but what I notice is they tend to be more just kind of blah toning. Like this one's nice, but this is more mimicking what is a little bit more common, which is kind of a standard brownish golden toning would be the nicer version. The less nice version would be just more of a brown look. Let me get the opposite end of this. You could see obviously an original look. Zoom out just a little, try and get it to focus a little better, but I just noticed the Franklin series, other than the popular 57 and 58, so this is the 57D here, one of the nicer reverses with that rainbow look. Obviously this was a popular mint set time. This coin here actually came out of a mint set that I opened. If you look back a few videos, I opened an original 1957 and 58 mint set. Well, this 57 actually came from a slab, did not come from the mint set itself. Actually, I recently took that mint set and put it in one of the Capital plastic holders here. Obviously these are common, but very few people actually probably put true mint set stuff from a mint set into this holder. And the reason I like doing that is because obviously all the toning matches, but ideally this slows down any additional toning that would happen. So you kind of semi-capture it. Clearly this isn't as good as putting it into a sealed holder from PCGS or the third-party grading companies, but it slows it down a little bit. But I've just noticed other than 57 and 58, which nice toning is almost common, like this 58D is really cool. The other date mint marks are just quite rare to find nice. Like I said, you could find toned, but just not nicely toned. And it's really interesting because I'm a big fan of trying to guess what is a fair value of a nicely toned coin, because if you follow that market at all, you know the prices can get pretty ridiculous. Where a blast white coin has a fairly tight range of outcomes, a toned coin could trade for extremely wide ranges. And a lot of sellers on eBay put it at a ridiculously high buy it now and just hope somebody at some point is willing to pay it, and they're probably more likely to get those people. Whereas somebody with a crazy high buy it now on a blast white coin may not. This is the back of that 58D. It's really kind of cool. So I don't know if you guys are into Franklins. The reason I like this series is there's no kind of ridiculous date and mint marks. There's some that are semi-key. I mean, every series has their quote-unquote key, but some keys are much harder. Like a started to do it with Washingtons because they tend to come pretty nicely toned. But there's just a few date mint marks that are just nearly impossible. Plus, there's so many of them in the Washington series. A couple other ones I want to show you here. This I figured, you know, kind of a similar look. They all have a little bit of a reddish toning in varying degrees. Kind of cool to see all three of the modern half dollars together. This is a 46S with some nice kind of rim toning. Little bit of a rainbow look in there. I think this was a 65 that, honestly, if it went back for grading, could possibly squeeze into a 66. Has really lovely luster there. I think all three of these were 65. But yeah, nice 58 here, Philly. Catch it in the right light and it has a little bit of red. You catch it in the wrong light and it looks kind of bland. This is the only Kennedy I own, but it had some really cool color here. Kennedys are less common to find nicely toned as well. I guess the central theme of this video is to show you a little bit of what I have, but also talk about nicely toned Franklins. Honestly, I think are undervalued because they are so rare. They don't trade at a premium that aligns with the rarity. So if you happen to find any that maybe are not 57 or 58, if anything pre-55, that has a true gem and I think is worth quite a bit more. So I don't know. Leave your comments below. Appreciate you watching. Take care.